What's going on, guys? Bank Robber Games here with more Fallout 3, A Tale of Two Wastelands. And last episode, it was the first episode, so we just started making our way through the introduction of the game. You know what Bethesda are like with the introductions to games. And yeah, we made most of our way through it. So at the start of this episode here, we're just going to be heading into the classroom
Well, you
to
made
do the
it.
goat.
All set for the goat? Trust me, it really isn't that bad. Just something everybody has to go through.
So here we have a couple of dialogue options. We have this option to reschedule. That doesn't really achieve anything, but we can also have the option just to sit down and do the test. Or we have this option here. Come on, I don't really have to take this stupid test, do I? And that allows us to actually skip the test. He allows you to fill in your answers and you can just leave the classroom without having to sit through the presentation. That's the option that I normally pick just because it saves time and helps you get through the introduction much quicker. But because I want to show off the goat, because it is quite funny, even though I've seen it too many times to count, we are going to just pick this option here.
Especially since it's multiple choice with no wrong answers. We'll start as soon as everyone's found a seat. Good luck. Let's not keep the overseer waiting. Well, now that everyone has managed to find the classroom, we can finally get started. No talking, and keep your eyes to yourselves. Yes, I'm talking to you, Mr. Deloria.
Sure thing, Mr. Brotch.
Unless anyone else has an insightful comment, let's get started. Question 1. A frenzied vault scientist runs up to you and yells, "I'm going to put my quantum harmonizer in your photonic resonation chamber." What's your response?
So here we basically just get different answers, and this test basically, at the start of the game, you get 3 skills that are your tag skills, which get a head start of 15 skill points being put into them, and this test basically just randomizes which skills are considered tag skills and get that 15-point bonus. But even after completing the test, there is an option to fill in your answers and pick whatever skills you want anyway.
Question 2. While working as an intern in the clinic, a patient with a strange infection in his foot stumbles through the door. The infection is spreading at an alarming rate, but the doctor has stepped out for a while. What do you do?
Probably what I'd do in this situation. Just stand there and scream for help.
Question 3. You discover a young boy lost in the lower levels of the vault. He's hungry and frightened, but also appears to be in possession of stolen property. What do you do?
Not what I would do personally, but I think this character, they're driven by loot, just want everything. They're absolute kleptomaniac, so we'll probably pick this little boy's pocket.
Question 4. Congratulations. You've made one of the Vault 101 baseball teams. Which position do you prefer?
So, I'm English, so I'm going to have to pick this, although I actually prefer rugby to football, or soccer, as some people choose to call it. But I guess football's closer to rugby than baseball, so we'll go with that.
Question 5. Your grandmother invites you to tea, but you're surprised when she gives you a pistol and orders you to kill another vault resident. What do you do?
Gotta do what Granny says.
Question 6. Old Mr. Abernathy has locked himself in his quarters again, and you've been ordered to get him out. How do you proceed?
So similarly to getting all the loot, we're going to need to be picking doors. While doing that, with our character being a kleptomaniac, so we're going to use Bobby pin to
Question
open
7.
the door.
Oh no! You've been exposed to radiation, and a mutated hand has grown out of your stomach. What's the best course of treatment? Question 8. A fellow Vault 101 resident is in possession of a Grognak the Barbarian comic book, issue number 1. You want it. What's the best way to obtain it? Question 9. You decide it would be fun to play a prank on your father. You enter his private restroom when no one is looking and... Question 10. Who is indisputably the most important person in Vault 101? He who shelters us from the harshness of the atomic wasteland, and to whom we owe everything we have, including our lives.
So for this last question, we obviously don't get a choice. And it's all about worshipping the overseer, basically.
Pencils down, people. That's it. The infamous goat. I'm sure most of you didn't find it so bad. Others, well, there are always openings in the maintenance department. Don't forget to hand in your test before you leave. You don't want to know what happens to people who fail the goat. You can have the rest of the day off to celebrate or to pray, as the situation warrants. Vault Loyalty Inspector. I thought that had been phased out decades ago. Well, sounds like a job right up your alley,
So here, after we do the test and hand it in, if we select this, we can either accept our goat results and then get our tag skills picked for us, or we can pick this option, whatever I just answered randomly. Is that how you got stuck with your job?
Ha! Closer to reality than you might think. Listen, I was just as obnoxious at your age. I didn't take the goat seriously, and look where I ended up. Just between you and me. The whole test is a joke. If you don't like the results, I could make your goat come out any way you want. Just let me know.
So here we can pick our tag skills anyway, and like I said, this increases them by 15 points, but the goat is a good way of giving you a little bit of randomness to your character build. And we're going to be picking explosives, because that allows us to get a lot of caps and also play a home at the start of the game without having to invest any other points into this skill. We're also going to pick lockpick just to get it above the 25-point threshold. So we're not going to pick lockpick, we're going to pick repair. And again, this allows us to get some caps at the start of the game. And we're also going to pick speech, because there's a couple of slightly tougher speech checks that we can do at the start of the game, and this allows us to both get some caps, get some money. I think I said bolts a minute ago, and makes completing some quests a bit easier. And all we have to do is exit the classroom. We also get an achievement for completing the goat.
I'll see you tomorrow, bright and early.
Anything is possible, even an A.
Daddy's
Mr.
not
Cross.
right here to save you now. Is he?
Selfish and insubordinate.
Wake up! Come
You
on,
need to
wake
know
up!
these things. I'm not going to be around to hold your hand forever.
Come on! You've got to wake up! You've got to get out of here. Your dad is gone, and my father's men are looking for you. He's left the vault. I don't know how, but he's gone. And my father, he's kind of gone crazy. It's Jonas! They killed him! My father's men. They took him and... Oh my God, you have to leave now! Yeah, don't worry about me. I'm just sorry you had to find out like this. I know Jonas was your friend. But we've got to go now. My father's men will be here any minute. I'm sorry, but I think you'll have to follow your dad. You'll have to escape from the vault. Listen, maybe it isn't any of my business, but didn't your dad tell you that he was leaving? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sure he had his reasons. Maybe Jonas was supposed to explain everything to you? But it doesn't matter. I can help you escape. I have my own plan. Listen. There's a secret tunnel that leads directly from my father's office to the exit. You'll have to hack the computer in his office to open it. Use these to get into his office. That's how I always get in. Oh, one more thing. I stole my father's pistol. I hope you won't need it, but you'd better take it just in case. Okay, I'll try to meet you at the exit. Watch out for security. Good luck!
So as part of the Just Mod series, we do have a weapon wheel here as well, and it's handy because it slows down time if you open it up during combat, and it just functions a bit nicer than the quick select options that you have in the normal game.
I'll meet you at the vault door if I can, but don't wait for me.
They also give us the quick looting menu like Fallout 4 that we have here. And you're going to want to go into this dresser because there is that Grognak Barbarian comic, and we can use that later on to get our melee weapon skill increased. And then there's also mini-map mods that I'm going to be using throughout the playthrough, and it basically just make it a bit easier for you guys to follow everything that happens, because it's very easy to get turned around and disorientated when you're playing, let alone when you're just watching.
There he is. Hold it right there!
Criminy, more roaches!
Get off!
So I'm going to steal this guy's armour. Have a little bit more protection. Still light as well, so it doesn't really affect our movement speed. You might notice it's picked up a little bit of radiation damage from the rad roaches. That's down to a mod that you can give creatures, certain creatures. It's fully customizable radiation damage along with their normal damage to make it a little bit like how it is in Fallout 4.
You gotta help me! My mom's trapped in there with the rat roaches! No, I can't go back in there. It's dark, and there's rat roaches.
So even though he's obviously been a bully the entire time we've known him, live and let live.
Oh my God! Thank you! I didn't know what to do! You're the best!
And if we go in and rescue Butch's mum, we can get a unique piece of clothing as well.
We did it! My mom's gonna be okay! You're the best friend I've ever had, man! Hey, I know it isn't much, but I want you to have my Tunnel Snake's jacket. Go ahead, take it.
So that does give us a unique piece of clothing, and you can see there increases our melee weapons by 5. Essentially pretty cool as well. But we're going to stick with the security armor just for the added protection.
Hold on. Where do they keep coming?
Take that! Decent quiet at last.
Oh, you're lucky it was me who found you. The others won't be so forgiving. I don't know what you're up to, and I don't want to know. Just clear out of here, and I'll pretend I never saw you. It's a real shame it's come to this. I can't believe what they did to Jonas. Officer Mack was just out of control. But you're a good kid.
You didn't do anything to deserve this. Go find your dad if you can.
You're the one everybody's looking for, right?
So if we come in here,
None of my business. Your dad always took good
you
care
can
of us.
pick up the medicine bobblehead if you haven't picked it up yet. There is also a point later in the game that you can pick it up if you miss it here as well. Otherwise,
Just hold still.
if you miss it here,
Stabilizer's been
you are
knocked
going to have
loose.
to wait a while till that happens. But don't worry, if you haven't got it, you can still get it later. But in here we also have some doctor's
Keep turning
bags,
like that, I'm gonna crack your casing.
and we've also got a book that will increase our barter skill, and the doctor's bag which stores all your limbs. There is also a safe here that has a few items in it and a schematic. We can't access it at the moment, but like I said, there is a opportunity later on in the game
This time.
to get that bobblehead, and at the same time you can also access this safe hidden behind the picture frame
Don't be such an old
of
woman. Just
that
a few more
Bible
adjustments and you'll be as good
passage
as new.
that your mum liked.
Just made it worse. Should I do this myself?
There's also another doctor's bag round here, but other than that, generally speaking, there isn't any sort of notable loot. A couple of stim
Don't be
packs.
such an old woman. Just a few more adjustments and you'll be as good as new.
I think you just made it worse. Should
Leave
I do this
Stanley to argue there.
We should just go back to our quarters.
It's our only chance, don't you see? We're getting out of here, just like the doctor. I'm not gonna let anyone stop us. It's me.
Tom! Be careful! Tom! No!
Those guys get absolutely messed up by the security guards for whatever reason. Some of Tom's parts spawned over here. But you might notice our sort of weapon was racing up there. That's due to another mod that just adds that nice little detail. But if we keep our distance here and attack these guys, we'll still be in stealth, so that allows us the bonus damage. That'll mean that we can save some of our ammo and we don't take any unnecessary damage. When you take out that security guard on the right, the one on the left always tends to go through that door, but then he always comes back through a couple of seconds later. You'll notice as well on the right, I do have a loot log, and that means that you guys can see everything that I'm looting, and yeah, just in case I do anything a bit fast. So we've just stolen all their gear, and that means we can repair ours, so that offers a bit more protection. And then the pistol that Amata gave us already has full condition, so we can use the other ones to repair each other, so that we can sell them for more money later on. Using Stewie's tweaks, I have set it so junk items don't weigh anything, and this just because if I'm going around looting, I might accidentally loot things, and I don't want to get weighed down and then forever have to look through the inventory to get rid of them. I'm picking up the turpentine because we'll need that for a recipe later on, and in this toolbox there is a saw blade, and that will be used for a weapon that's added by a mod that I haven't actually used yet, so it'd be cool to get to try that out later on in the playthrough. The 10mm pistol is a little bit overkill for these guys, so switch back to our baseball bat, and that way we can save our ammo. Just like before, I'm going to take all this stuff.
You! This is your fault. You and your stupid father. He had to go and leave, didn't he? He had to mess things up for everybody.
But yeah, using Stewie's tweaks is a mod I've mentioned a couple of times now. You can change loads of different things around the game, and it's still being updated and adding new features. Basically adds a custom settings menu where you've got all these options, and I'd recommend downloading it and going through all the options, because it can potentially save you having to download other mods. You can do it all just using Stewie's tweaks.
I told you, I don't know anything.
Be reasonable, Amata. Officer Mac may enjoy this, but I don't. Just tell us where to find your friend so we can talk to him.
He's my friend. I was worried about him. What does he have to do with any of this anyway?
Probably nothing, which is why you need to tell me where he is, so I can talk to him. Go ahead, officer.
You'd better talk, girlie.
Stop it!
Gutsy now.
So this is a slight issue with TTW Wastelands. Is another mod somewhere, I think it's another mod somewhere in my load order, is messing it up. So after getting rid of Officer Mac, the Overseer becomes hostile. And normally you'd speak to him to try and get a key to his office and a password terminal. But obviously you can't do that if he's hostile.
Your father betrayed us all.
We don't want to kill him because killing him affects the outcome of a quest we can do later on. So we're going to keep him alive, and hopefully if we run away from him he'll lose sight of us, and that way we won't have to worry about him chasing us through the vault. It sounds like he's managing to keep up.
Your father betrayed us all.
So there is a note from our dad there, but even without speaking to him, you can pick up a key to his office
Tried to run.
if you haven't got the skill to pick the lock with the bobby pins Amata gives you when she wakes you up. There are also those other 5 bobby pins there, so if the bobby pins she gave you broke, you've got 5 more there you can make use of. We've got a key, and before we go any further, we're just going to listen to that note got from Dad.
Hold on, Jonas. I need to record this first. I don't really know how to tell you this. I hope you'll understand, but I know you might be angry. I thought about it for a long time, but in the end, I decided it was best for you not to know. So many things could have gone wrong, and there's really no telling how the Overseer will react when he finds out. It's best if he can blame everything on me. Obviously, you already know that I'm gone. It was something I needed to do. You're an adult now. You're ready to be on your own. Maybe someday things will change and we can see each other again. I can't tell you why I left or where I'm going. I don't want you to follow me. God knows life in the vault isn't perfect, but at least you'll be safe. Just knowing that will be enough to keep me going.
Don't mean to rush you, Doc, but I'd feel better if we got this over with.
Okay, go ahead. Goodbye. I love you.
So in the Overseer's office, there is a locker that doesn't seem to work with the Just Loot menu. It's got another few items in there, and if we don't get the password off the Overseer by talking to him, which we're not able to do because of him sort of bugging out and becoming hostile, I'm not quite sure what causes it. It doesn't always happen. I think, like I said, I don't think it's down to TTW Wastelands. I think it's down to another mod in my load order causing that issue. But if you can't get the password from him, you can get it through here as well. So you're basically guaranteed to be able to escape. I'm just going to see if I can get him to stop chasing us, because I don't want him to accidentally get killed in the next section of the game.
Guard! Guard, he's over here!
The rat roach infestation is under control. Do not interfere with vault security personnel.
You shouldn't have tried to run.
Not too worried about our health being low.
don't really think you can hide.
So thankfully we did manage to outrun him there. It just means he doesn't get caught in the crossfire in this next section. But using the password, we can access the Overseer's computer terminal. And there's a little bit of background on different characters and also some reports from actually outside the vault. And then you can see here there's a mentioning of something called the GEC, which is going to come in later on throughout the game. I'm not going to worry about reading through all these just because it will slow down the walkthrough. And it's the majority of it is stuff that gets sort of explained later on anyway. But we can also have the option to open up the Overseer's tunnel. And that opens this up and allows us to get to the exit.
I don't know where he could have gotten to.
So we're still in the caution state, but hopefully we'll be able to stay away from the Overseer. And here we have the entrance to the vault.
He's opening the vault door. Get the Overseer. We need this door open now.
Oh my god. You actually opened it. You did it! You opened the door!
So here we can ask her to basically come with us.
No, you didn't need me. If anyone can survive out there, it's you. It's tempting, but my place is here. The vault needs me more than you do. I'm the only one who has a chance to talk some sense into my father. Listen, if you do catch up with your dad, tell him I'm sorry for you know, Jonas and my father and everything. Goodbye.
So then after you finish talking to Amata, security guards come out that gate. If you're low on health or anything, you can stay out here and they'll run away because they don't want to go outside the vault. But we're just going to take them on so we can pick up their loot. And because our strength is quite high, we do a decent amount of damage to them. And their armour tends to not be in the best condition either. But yeah, if you're struggling to take these guys on or just have low health or anything, you can come out here, use your pistol and VATS. Before we leave the vault, there's a little bit of loot that we can get here. First lot is our first lockpicking encounter because we had the key to the Overseer's office. And if you played Skyrim or pretty much any other Bethesda game, you know how it works. And that normally has a couple of stim packs in there for us. And then over in this other room, there's some junk items, some of which can be useful. Here we have a carton of cigarettes that we're going to pick up because they sell for a pretty decent amount of money, and they're also considered a junk item, which, like I mentioned before, I've set the weight of all to be 0, but even normally I still recommend picking them up because they don't weigh much and they sell for a pretty decent amount of caps. Over here there is just an exit to where we took out the 2 security guards that took out the other vault dwellers. But now we can finally exit the vault and make our way into the capital Wasteland. We do also have a final chance to edit our name, our race, and the way we look. Also our special stats, our traits as well. So if you want not happy with the trait that you picked or want to pick another trait like Wild Wasteland, you can pick it here. We can also edit our tag skills if you've missed out on the opportunity through dialogue choices to pick them manually earlier on after doing the goat. We don't need to do any of that, so we're just going to exit Vault 101 and see what the Wasteland has in store for us. But before we do that as well, we do also have the option to activate hardcore mode, and this does make the game a lot more difficult. You have things like food and starvation that you need to eat. You can become dehydrated. Ammo has a weight to it, whereas normal mode it doesn't. Yeah, it definitely makes the game a lot tougher. It makes it much more like a survival game, or sort of a light survival game. But we're not going to be doing this for the playthrough, just because it can slow things down. But if you want a bit of a challenge, I'd definitely recommend doing this. For like if you're get really into Fallout, it's definitely the way to play the game. So here we have a pop-up menu for the pre-order content. You can access that through even in Taylor 2 Wastelands. I'm going to activate all this just again so I can show it all off. There is an option with a mod that I am using. There is an option to get rid of this menu, and it will have the loot that you get from these DLC packs scattered throughout the Wasteland, which can be quite fun and gives you a reason to go to some of the locations that they're at. But I'll link that mod down in the description for you guys, and that's the Delay the DLC Redux TTW mod, or something along those lines. Really cool mod, because then it also means that we're not spammed with the DLC messages of being able to access things like Operation Anchorage. See, we've got a load of items there added to us. We also completed the mission Escape. Also got another achievement from that. But now we've exited the vault, I'm gonna end this episode here. And then next episode we're going to take our first steps out into the Wasteland, and hopefully we won't get taken out too quickly. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode, and yeah, next episode we'll really get on with the playthrough. If you have enjoyed this episode, looking forward to seeing what the Wasteland has in store for us, like and subscribe for more, and that way you won't miss out on anything. And like I said before, any mods that I've mentioned in this video will be linked down in the description for you guys. Thanks again for watching. I always appreciate having you guys here, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.